Hey, people on the internet that are probably still quarantined, depending on where you're at, or you're walking outside with masks on your face now because 2020 is hell. Um, this is technically the second, but it's now the first of a series that we're attempting to fix, which
What are we gonna call this?
we don't have a name for it. At the moment, it's just reviews in progress. Where we force each other to watch things that we don't normally watch or we have an interest
I wouldn't say
in.
that. I would say force.
Yeah, that's fair. Just things that we don't normally have an interest in, maybe, or things that have interested us for a while, but that we haven't watched and we've just constantly put off. We watch short, runs, and well, we do a quick little review. So yeah, this is episode 1. We're just rebranding. This is episode 1 of an anime review series that we're gonna slowly work on and at least possibly pump out once every month, maybe once every 2 months, depending on the series.
Listen, 12 episodes at first, and then we can do longer ones later.
Yeah. This first one is on something that I recommended. This review is not gonna be long, much like the show.
It's not.
It's on Megalobox, and I recommended this to Cameron. Originally, I just kind of recommended it to him because, well, it looked really interesting and it kind of had like a boxing feel, and well, I wanted something to kind of scratch the Ippo itch. It came out in 2018. Series finished up, I believe, in like the tail end of 2018, whenever that happened as well. Because it wasn't very long.
Yes,
it started in April. Yeah, it started in April of 2018.
Yes, because it was in the Crunchyroll Awards for that year. I was like, oh, well then.
Yeah, it ended in June. So ran for literally 2 months and then finished. Cameron, you go ahead and you slide your thoughts in first.
We should probably say who the fuck made this show.
Stuff do like you want? Well, the studio is TMS or 3x cube, 3 times cube, whichever one you want to say. I don't actually know of anything else that they've done, so let me check. They had a partnership with Sega. That's a thing.
That is weird.
Yeah, they've been around since the 60s.
What?
Yeah, they've been around since the 60s.
Hey, weird. We're just like, man, no one's heard of this studio.
They worked on Sonic X.
That's not helping them.
They worked on the Monster Rancher TV show. They worked on
Never
D. Gray
seen it.
Man. They worked on Kenichi, the Mightiest Disciple. So they've worked on a lot of stuff. 2010, they definitely hit a low point, and then they picked it back up pretty quick. It started off with Bakugan, and Lupin the Third, okay. The Woman Called Fujiko Mine, followed up. There's a lot of obviously it's like shovelware damn near. Phantasy Star Online 2, the animation. That's a thing I didn't know existed. D. Gray Man Hollow.
Same. Oh, okay.
They worked on All Out with Madhouse. That's pretty good. The Nobunaga Shinobi series, and then 2020s they're also doing Tower of God. So, and they did Dr. Stone in 2019 and Fruits Basket. So they've worked on a lot of stuff.
So they're a studio that can change up styles, which is great.
Yeah, they also did all the Lupin the Third stuff, Magic Knight series, Kaido series, and they have a couple original series like Hamtaro and stuff like that.
Oh god. Oh my god.
They also worked on Baki.
Oh my god.
Video games, Sakura Wars, Kingdom Hearts. Oh. Alright, well, guys, it's not a small company.
It's not a small company.
But yeah. The main network that everything went through was Toonami / Adult Swim. It was licensed by Viz Media. Depending on where you're at. In general, it was Viz Media, but for Australia, it was Madman Entertainment.
They handle pretty much everything anime there. But no, if you didn't watch it on cable, you had to watch it on Crunchyroll, and it wasn't dubbed on Crunchyroll. Nope. That's how I watched it.
Same. And it was directed by Yo Moriyama.
Nice. Well, We'll get to that in a bit.
Alright, you give your opinions and thoughts, and I shall follow up with you.
This show is really fucking 90s. Like, so 90s it hurts. Plot was good up until a point, and then I was just like, these things are gonna happen. I don't care. Don't know how that last fight's gonna end. Oh, that's how the last fight's gonna end. Okay, that's cool. I felt like it was okay. Solid six. Little above average, not quite great. In a plot wise, technically, sounded good. Actually, Foley work on the show was really good. You could really hear the footsteps and whatnot. I didn't really think about that until I remember I watched it with headphones on for the last few episodes. But how do I want to phrase this? It darlings into Frank's it, but in like the last 3 episodes, so it wasn't as bad.
Yeah.
Cause like, my only real big question I have is, where did Joe come from? He wasn't just spawned from the earth.
Yeah, yo, we needed backstory.
They never talk about a backstory. Like, there's nothing. He was just
there.
He was doing basic fights, and then Dude Bro found him, and I'm like, well, what was he doing before that? He could literally not have just, the Earth didn't just spit him out. Apparently, the Earth just spit him out, and I'm just like,
Talking about for Yuri, right?
Okay, I guess. I would like some backstory on Yuri too.
Okay, I was like, Yuri or Joe?
I mean, they both really don't have backstories.
Yeah, because we know that Yuri's a German guy, and he did some stuff over in Germany before ending up in Japan whenever they had found him one time during a fight. But
which, that should have been explained a lot better, other than, hey, we heard this gym has a good fighter. Oh, it's the Russian dude? Okay, yeah, we'll take him. I was like, that's it? Really? Nothing? Okay, alright, fine, sure, whatever.
yeah.
And then Joe just spawned out of the earth.
Yeah. Joe...
That's my main problem right now.
My main gripe with the show is there's a lot of build-up, and then it feels like we don't really have a solid, like, conclusion for it. Just off of the fact of, yeah, it ended, but that ending fight, it felt like should have been like 2 episodes, like a couple of the other fights. However, it wasn't. It was just a single episode with an end cut, and then they were like, all right, cool.
Yeah, that last fight was... I do like that, how the first really big... No, was it the first or the fourth big tournament? I think it was the first. Really big tournament for Megalobox is due to two dudes who didn't use the gears. I found that super funny. Like, wow, that's just a huge fuck you. And all right, I guess we take that here.
I also wanted to know more. Who was the originator behind them? Like,
I don't think we know.
You don't. No. It's stated that their company is the first one to like come up with it. But like, who in that company? Give a little bit of backstory of like how you started creating these exosuits, essentially.
I would assume like a great granddad, but we don't know. We just know the company, which is annoying.
Yeah. I mean, did you like how the animation was, the style? Like,
oh yeah, it was great. It was literally just, here's the 90s, but if you could see better. And I'm like, okay, it's cool. It's also in widescreen. I'm like, ah, yes, because 4x3 anime kind of sucks.
But
I liked how he came up in those 3 or 4 months.
You're talking about Joe?
Yeah, but going from literally the bottom to number 4, I didn't. He had 10 fights. You should not be able to do that in 10 fights. Like,
he was challenging big names, though.
Okay, but beating number 17 should not make you number 4.
Yeah, I think it may have like a record thing with. I don't know. That wasn't very well explained. I would think beating 17 made you 17. Kind of like an Afro Samurai type deal.
Yeah.
You kill the guy with the number 7 headman, you are now the number 7.
Also, I didn't like that the rounds were infinite.
Yeah.
That was weird. There's still 3-minute rounds, but you can just fight until someone dies or until someone can't move. And I'm like, shouldn't there be a limit? No, okay. There's just too many unanswered questions here. I liked all the allegories though.
Overall, kind of like sprinkled out through the show, or towards the end, or
The main one at the end of a scorpion is still a scorpion, no matter how much it wants to change. I'm like, yeah, I don't think Dude Bro should have had to cut out his eye, because that wasn't the deal. The deal was he just needs to make it to the big tournament, and I'll let you guys go. And he's like, nah, I changed my mind. I'm like, you can't do, no, that's not how that works at all. Why would you even insinuate, oh, because he's the bad guy, so he can do whatever he wants?
well, he did say they were gonna have to throw it, but
No, he just said they had to get there, and then they cut. I was like, okay, cool. And then when they cut back, he's like, oh no, they have to throw it. I'm like, that isn't that big of a twist. That's just, oh, by the way, I'm more of an asshole than I originally let on. Because if they had said that in the beginning, that would have made the betrayal way more impactful than just going, oh no, Joe, you have to do this thing. I thought we were done. Yeah,
I feel like it was implied. Because I kind of like got it, because they were working for him already through the fact that, so they were always throwing matches anyways for this guy.
Yeah. Which, if Joe's been doing this for so long, where does this money go? Does he even earn money from this? Like, too many unanswered questions.
Yeah, I don't think he should be like Junkyard Dog. And he's been doing it for some years, so shouldn't everybody know his name?
Exactly. Also, why doesn't he have citizenship? Why does no one down there have a citizenship?
Yeah, is that like foreign area? Is that just you're in the slums? What?
I like the fights, because the fights were super anime for boxing, because literally after I finished watching the show, my stepdad was watching a Muhammad Ali fight, and it was punch, punch, hug, punch, punch, hug, and I'm just like, boxing is boring. And I'm like, oh wait, I just watched the boxing anime. But was all of that like super punched up boxing? I hate myself for making that pun. That's an editing pun. Fucking goddamn it. I just want to. Yes, the anime is super punched up, but there were still like actual boxing stuff, like footwork. Footwork's important, I guess. I don't know. I don't sports.
Footwork in boxing is important. Dude, if you read Ippo, you learn about boxing at like a fucking molecular level.
I'm
good.
That Ippo's 1,000+ chapters. Yeah. I don't have that type of time.
Yeah, it's technically the longest running manga the last time I checked.
Yeah. I'm not gonna argue that. Yeah, what are your thoughts?
So, I'm gonna start at the beginning. I had the same gripe as you. I wanted more backstory on Junkyard Joe. We don't know why he's down there. We don't know what he's doing down there. We don't know if the people down there, if it's like Final Fantasy, like slums. We don't know any of that. We don't know backstory on the old man. How did they meet, really? Like, yeah, they had that chance encounter, and then he was like, yo, you want to earn some money, but why is, like, how did he get hooked up with the guy in the first place? I also want to know what exactly... So we know that the kid's dad, was very important in that the kid had been around for a while. Nobody noticed some new stuff. Nobody noticed the new kids, coming around. Nobody noticed any of that stuff. And then it started focusing on Joe. So cool, we're going to get Joe. It's going to be great. The animation for it, I really like it. It has a good style. I kind of wish that they would have stuck with the exos, the exosuit on Joe. Gearless Joe was a cool idea. I liked it. I was kind of hoping that eventually he would get that exosuit, though, so we could see more...
No, why would they do that? He's Gearless Joe.
I mean, the show's called Megalobox, and on the cover is him in a gear.
Isn't that the basic gear that breaks, though? I don't
No, it looks completely different.
Really? Well,
yeah.
Go check. You keep going.
There's also, I'm talking about the actual like cover of the show.
Yeah, I see it.
On the show, there's
It's
like
got-
there's steel. It's fucking shining. It's got like gears and kind of like weaves.
You know, his the gear. So you know, I see what you mean. The gear on the box is nothing
Like the shit that
well,
broke
it's
or
more
anything that he wore.
decorated. Yeah, it's more. Look, it's got the scratches and the. I guess those are. Well, they're not stickers, but
Yeah, it's got
they've
like a
got
bunch of shit on
designs,
it. Like
so-
he's been using it through the entire show, and I was like, we're gonna get
Yeah,
this,
this-
but no. I feel like in the middle of the show, I was very hooked. I was excited to see where it was gonna go, whether or not he was gonna put that gear on to fight Yuri, or whether he was just gonna fight Yuri with no gear, or how that was gonna go. And I was like, I was invested. I was set. I was excited for the side plots that they were setting up, so that way they could kind of tear them down. And then as the show started to near the end, I realized that the Megalobox show is not about the gears.
No,
And the gears are going to go up to the sideway. They want you to focus on the side point of, like, you know, the chairwoman, she's trying to sell the gears to the government, get them to use them in the military. They can lift X amount of pounds. They can do all this weight. They can make it a lot easier for your men. That's cool. Why are they being screwed into that man's body? And whenever he had it, does he have to have surgery?
to have it removed. Yeah,
Why not
Which-
just use the one that Joe or like the old champion had that was huge? There's so many like questions that
see, my problem with that is, okay, you're done boxing. It's integrated into your body. You can't take it off.
yeah, you have to get it surgically
So-
removed.
You can't do like normal shit anymore. And I'm just like, that would make sex weird.
Doesn't make sex weird. If it's badly tuned, you could harm your body using the restroom. Like,
Your dick's just gone.
oh, dude, imagine taking a shower and then, you know, fucking...
Can those things even get wet?
That's another question. I don't know if that gear could get wet. In theory, there's no holes, so, you know, like, you can.
Possibly.
Um,
I don't like that.
but there's too many, like, impractical uses. I know this is, like, the nitty-gritty stuff. It's like story in Dark Souls. You don't play Dark Souls for story. Well, I watch anime for story, and the story had plot holes. The ending fight, I was actually disappointed by. I also didn't like the fact that over the course of the entire series, so like Ippo, in another boxing show / anime, Ippo learns a new technique by the 45th chapter, which is like episode 5 or 6. He learns a technique for boxing. He learns turn punching, and that's cool. Joe doesn't learn a new technique through the entire show. Like, he practices counterpunching, and that's it. That's the only thing he ever practices, and that's the only thing he does through the entire show. He's gonna fuck me up. All right, duck in, punch. That's the Joe maneuver. That's the Megalobox. That's the show. That's it.
I feel like that was a bit of a fighting game approach. Like, hey, make sure you have your fundamentals. And he's like, I got that. Let me learn something else. Your footwork's a little off, and your punches are a little wimpy. So you need to work on your fundamentals. And I'm just like,
That's cool, but give us something else. Like, if he has long, lanky arms, put in other boxing material. So, like, most of the time,
oh, he
long...
did an uppercut once.
Yeah, but even then, it was also a counter uppercut. Like, every move that he did to win a fight was a counter. He didn't use any other styles. It was really just a very neat tucked style to his chest. If you have longer
Yeah.
arms in boxing, there's a stance or there's like a kind of form called whip punching, where you'll like your arm will extend out and you'll hit them on the way back like a whip. We saw nobody do that, despite there being the tallest motherfucker I've ever seen in an anime. Nope, he just used the most basic style of boxing. Nobody did like rolls in with punches. Like, if you're doing a hook, they just stood still. They didn't move with the entire body. They didn't try to put the weight behind the hook. They didn't do any of that. There's no new technique for Joe to learn, because I guess Joe just doesn't want it. Which is cool, I guess, you know.
yeah.
That's what you're
We're
doing.
also gonna gloss over her brother, because I feel like that was a good side plot for an episode or two, maybe not the last 4 of cybernetically, not cybernetic, this is already said, AI enhanced gear versus normal gear. That's why he's like, man, I don't understand why my granddad didn't pick me. It's like, because we're not ready for that yet, kid. Calm down. Just let them punch themselves on their own, and then in like 50 years, not 50, maybe in like 10 years, then we incorporate AI. Also, you're pushing really hard for this. I'm gonna need you to dial it back. Your sister's doing business stuff, and we're a company, not tech people, so chill. So I got that, but I'm just like,
I also feel like he laid over way too easy. You know what I mean? Like, he lost the fight, and then he was instantly like, yes, I now work for the company now. Like, okay.
Because he didn't want to fight. He knew it was coming. He didn't want to fight it. Like, I feel that.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, why not make that extra push? Like, so why not make that extra push to make your tech more important? Make it realize that, like, this is what you're doing.
Because the sister's going to shoot him down and go, hey, we're making stuff for the military? As a, like, the whole gears was just a first step for something else.
Oh, I know.
I want to know what that second step was.
Yeah, it was phase one of a plan that we never learned.
I was like, yo, what's the rest of this plan? Because if military application is step 2, motherfucker, what are you planning? What are you planning? And we'll never know. Which, I'm just like, by episode 9, I checked out. I was like, Joe's gonna win the fight against Fury.
Yeah.
I don't really care. I'm done here. I'm just watching to say I watched it. And I'm by episode, literally when they're going back to, not going back, the party at the blind man's boxing thing, which how is the blind man going to teach people how to box? That's another question.
You're talking about the after party or the party for them getting into top 4?
The after party. The after party. I was right, like at that moment I was like, I could cut it off right now and I would still know what's gonna happen in the next 10 minutes. I'm just like, I don't care. Like, Joe winning the fight isn't, he landed the winning punch. It's, here's some text at the end of the show, and I'm just like, I'm done. I'm done here.
Yeah, overall it felt very short-lived, and
yeah,
I feel like the show itself wasn't awful.
No, not at all.
Would I recommend to someone? No, I would kind of just tell you to go watch Ippo.
Yeah, like this made me want to go try Ippo, and I'm just like, I ain't got that kind of time.
Yeah, I mean Ippo's longer definitely, but that will get you into the boxing idea way more. There's techniques in Ippo, there's matchups, there's like weight brackets, like there's more going on in that than there is in this. And I get that this is kind of like a short one-shot kind of idea for the boxing genre to kind of be invaded, but
oh, that's right. Go ahead, finish up.
But you know, I think overall, as a whole package, it's not awful. It definitely on a 1 to 10 scale, I'm definitely floating around like a 5 or a 6. I enjoyed it whenever it's going there. I just wish new things were introduced to keep it more interesting, and that shorter like side plots and things like that weren't just introduced and then shotgunned out and then ripped out of the story again.
I feel you, dog. Closing remarks, because we've been going for almost a half hour and we said we weren't going to do this.
Yeah. I think it's a good show. I just think if you're going to get into Megalobox, I feel as though you should just kind of watch Ippo in like short bursts instead. I feel like you'll get way more into Ippo. You'll like the character building. You'll like the team that's there. You'll like that coercion. Whereas for Megalobox, out of rip, it paints itself as one thing and then it quickly becomes something else. And
good old bait and switch.
Yeah. It was a very hard bait and switch. I don't think it's bad. I don't think I'm going to watch it again. I'm definitely not going to purchase it like I was originally planning to.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's a good show. I think this was kind of like their idea of getting back into it. And I think that the animation style that they did was good. I just wish that there was more story in the story.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fair. Technically, it was great. Story-wise, I checked out because I'm just like, I don't fucking care anymore. And genre-wise, it was very strange because this is a sports seinen series. For those who don't know the genres, seinen is like shonen and shoujo, but for adults. Because gambling and like back alley bullshit is not for children, it is for adults. Therefore, this is a seinen show, just very, very light on the seinen things, which it's a seinen, but barely, which is probably why things kind of fell apart towards the end. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a hard 6. It's an okay show. Wouldn't watch it again. Would definitely. It makes me want to watch other sports anime. It made me want to go back and watch season 3 of Haikyuu, even though I already know what happens, even though I haven't watched it yet. Which doesn't sound correct, but that is correct. So yeah, that was Megalobox.
Yeah, we will see you guys in the next episode, which is that's all up to Cameron this time around.
We're gonna watch a movie this time.
Shit.
Because it should still be on Netflix. If it's not, I will revise it. Gonna watch In This Corner of the World because I bought it for like $5. And it literally, as I was turning on my PS4 and going to go to Netflix to find something, it was in the recommended Netflix things that pop up at the bottom of the screen. I was like, do I cancel my order? You know what? No, I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to put this fucking Blu-ray into my PS4 and watch it because I bought it.
Looks interesting. If we can do movies, I see a movie that I actually want us to watch next
cool.
now. After that.
But alright, thank you for joining on this part 1, episode 1 asterisk of... We gotta figure out a name. We gotta figure out a name. I'll ask people, because I have no fucking idea.
Yeah, we'll figure out a name for something. Well, we'll see you guys in the next episode, and then after that, we'll see. I think we've actually got like a little bit of a short like idea. So we hope you enjoy, and like, comment. You don't have to subscribe, but it's nice. Let's at least know that people like us. Maybe.
Listen, just leave comments. YouTube likes comments now for some godly reason. Just interact with us. That's all we want.
Yeah, poke Cameron. Say hi to me. For some odd reason, some of you people wanted to see a face. I've been unsure on that one.
We can't even do that show because of quarantine.
So there you go.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys in the next one.
All right. Bye.
Bye.